Eugene, hi, welcome to Pharmacoms TV and thank you for joining us. Can you give us a little insight into your background and Bayer G4A?
Sure. So my name is Eugene Borukhovich and I head up the G4A digital health team, which is a relatively small team of intra and entrepreneurs. The whole G4A started about 6 years ago, actually almost going 7, as grants for apps, and it was literally grants and literally for apps. And it was started as a passion project, and then kind of year over year we matured and pivoted as a team. I joined Bayer about 3 years ago, 3.5, and so I lost all my hair in the last 3.5 years, but having fun. So the way G4A is kind of set up, we have kind of 3 pillars to this. And the focus is obviously, Bayer is a global and 150-year-old plus company that's continuously innovating through this process. We felt that we need to do a couple of things when it comes to digital health. So one part of my team is called G4A Intelligence. We have a network of G4A family around the world with programs all around the world. And so intelligence, it's not just tracking what the startup activity is, but actually making sense of it. What are the clear business opportunities? Not at a high-level strategic level, not necessarily at a therapeutic or clinical level. Yes, it's tied to that. But for example, when we're talking about unmet needs, it might be unmet needs of the patient, but also their caregivers. So just as an example. The second part of the team is our G4A partnerships, which is, if I describe intelligence as where do you play, partnerships is who do you play with. Because for every challenge that we as a society have, there's an entrepreneur somewhere in the world working on it. And that's the partnerships programs that are probably the most familiar with the rest of the world. And then the third one is how do you win, and that's our G4A Ventures. Imagine a number of intra and entrepreneurs together in one room solving a challenge. So this is very much startup style. We started it with our consumer health business last year. And very much look at it, how do we de-risk some of those models, understand the real unmet need, the real behavior of those individuals and consumers. So in a nutshell, that's our G4A now. Intelligence, where do you play? Partnerships, who do you play with? And ventures is how do you win?
And how do you see virtual reality transforming patient care and patient-centric experiences?
So the interesting part is, when I first arrived, there were a number of the teams that were very much like a tech push, right? Let's find a problem for the solution. With the team now, we're really starting with the unmet need and the behavior and who pays what and what are the impacts. Having said that, to answer your question directly on the virtual reality, it has a tremendous potential because one of the things we're looking and tracking is a lot of the neurotechnology. And just to give a quick example, one of our cohort from last year, a company called Canaptic, that has an electroceutical and a virtual reality. And the hypothesis is that as an electroceutical, for example, for stroke patients, when you're rehabilitating an electroceutical center, you cannot not do this. With a virtual reality headset, the hypothesis is clinically, can it actually repair neural pathways, right, much quicker? Just an example, it has to be proven, it has to go through the clinical validation. The other aspect, I think, we're all hungry to learn all the time, and that's part of my fun, the 3 Fs that I talked about this morning. And I think virtual reality, but also augmented reality, or XR, combined, I think it gives the huge benefit of really immersing yourself in it, learning whether you're a surgeon, how to do a surgery, whether you're a patient, what does it actually do to you biologically, whether it's the drug or a medical device or a more holistic treatment or digital therapeutic. So I think tremendous potential on the aspects of not just educating, but actually even as a therapy, and I think you guys probably tracking Brennan Spiegel as one of the key individuals in that space.
So what, in your view, are the key trends impacting the healthcare industry over the coming years?
So I think, and you'll kind of keep hearing the same message resonating through me. There was a term that was coined an experience economy, actually in late 90s, right, 98 or 97, something like that. And I actually think that healthcare really has to become human. So this is not even a trend from a technological perspective again. It's around the really crappy experiences that we as the patients and consumers been having. I think there's going to be a laser focus in the next few years and going forward is on that experience. So that's kind of one key thing. I think part of that experience, we hear the buzz around digital therapeutics that we've been tracking for a number of years now. I think it's becoming really a reality. There is obviously RCTs that are happening, clinical evidence, reimbursement that's starting happening, and the question always becomes, I actually did a blog on this the other day, is the pharmaceutical and life sciences going to swallow digital therapeutic as part of that pill, or the experience economy with digital therapeutic companies leading the way will just swallow the molecule, right? And so that to me is something that we're watching, and not just watching but also driving to a certain extent. That's one key thing. You know, I am still a big fan of kind of neurotechnology. I think, you know, we, just like the oceans, we don't know much about them still. I think brain, as you know, we have so much to learn as a humankind around it. So I think, and we've seen quite a lot of advancements happening around that. And this is from not just treating, but preventing and diagnostics around the brain, which is key, right? So those are the two key things for me.